Welcome to episode 37 of Believe in TCU as part of the Believe Network. I'm Zion Trammell, joined alongside Seth Dowdle. We're going to be talking TCU women's basketball and their a magical journey that unfortunately came to an end yesterday. But we'll talk about the positives, the negatives, the overall season, and what to expect moving forward. And if we have time, we'll talk baseball as well. But I have a feeling we're going to be talking TCU women's basketball for quite a while here. Seth, how was your weekend? Was it sports filled with all the different things going on?
It was indeed. Started out on Saturday afternoon, watched the Sweet 16. Um, that was a joy. And then ended last night in disappointing fashion. But hey, there's a lot to talk about, a lot of positives. Usually, when someone tells me at least they made it that far, I scoff at them and I say, shut up. That's a stupid thing to say right now as I watched my team lose in agony on a grand stage. But I feel like it applies here. So, yeah, at least they got here. That's what I kept telling myself throughout that fourth quarter last night.
Yes, it does apply in this scenario. We'll talk about the positives first. A tremendous 71 to 62 win in the Sweet 16 over Notre Dame. It was the rematch. A lot of analysts picked Notre Dame to win this game, and maybe for good reason. Obviously having that backcourt of Olivia Miles and Hannah Hidalgo definitely helps. But hey, we've got Haley Van Lith and Madison Connor, and Haley Van Lith definitely carried her weight in the win. 26 points, 9 rebounds. Sedona Prince had 21 points, and Madison Connor had 13. But yeah, that was a statement win for the Horned Frogs, and definitely glad they were able to celebrate that one.
It was truly a statement game from Haley Van Lith, legacy game type stuff. Whenever I think of her TCU career, this is kind of going to be the crescendo of it all, right here. Those 26 points took over in moments of the game where Notre Dame foolishly left her wide open for multiple 3-pointers. I do not know what they were thinking, and then let her drive to the hoop using that left hand, and she delivered. She delivered. Pops in the stands, loving it. Jalen Suggs' boyfriend, this was a revelation to me, was unaware that they were dating. We're loving it as well. I hope you saw that video of them chest bumping uh, after she made a massive 3-pointer. And yeah, it was uh, again the crescendo of her time here in Fort Worth for sure. Probably the crescendo of everyone's, like that entire the crescendo of the season was the Sweet 16 win for sure. And yeah, it was crazy. It was nuts. Uh, Unfortunate that it didn't result in another victory a couple nights later, but for those 48 hours that we were just reveling in the Sweet 16 when it was really special.
I think a win like that just shows how far obviously this team has come to not only defeat a top program like Notre Dame once in the regular season, but then do it again in the tournament. And that's something that the Frogs had done well all season long in those like rematches. They take care of business. It's like people always say, oh, well, it's tough to beat a team twice, but TCU did it multiple times, did it against Baylor, and then they did it against Notre Dame and several other teams as well. So that's another thing in and of itself. And then I think you mentioned like yeah, they couldn't build off of that within an Elite Eight win, but I think also it's like you get to kind of celebrate that and move on to the next round. And I think it also brings more national attention because I think a lot more people, start to tune in as it gets closer and closer to the national championship in the women's tournament. More eyes are drawn to, the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight. So um, that certainly helped, but it was an awesome win. I was announcing a game while it was going on. So like I was box score watching, and then I saw we were going up, and there's about like a minute left, and we were up by 7 or 8, and I was like, oh my gosh, like we're doing this. We're actually doing this. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and at one point, if you're box score watching this, and if you're actually watching live, TCU's down by 9 at one point in the third quarter. Notre Dame
Yeah.
is up at the half, I think by 1 point, and then they go on a run at the start of the half, and I thought that was curtains. This was kind of it, there haven't been a lot of times where TCU has faced kind of a bigger deficit this season, but when they
Mhm.
have, it's kind of been a struggle bus to mount it and win. This time they did it. It was a lot because of the run that Haley Van Lith went on just on her own. Um, and yeah, I mean they went out there. They kind of did what they did against Notre Dame in the first one, which was get down and then climb themselves out of a massive hole and then win. Uh, I think the keys here, obviously, for that game, TCU shot 50% from the field, held Notre Dame to 32% shooting. Um, the turnovers, this was a bit of an omen. Obviously, all season this was an omen. The turnovers were always an issue. They turned it over 15 times against Notre Dame. It didn't bite them in the butt, but again, maybe a bit foreshadowing to win it. And I think I said this at some point. When a team is able to turn them over a lot, like they kind of have been for the past couple of weeks, and scores off those turnovers, that might be the end of the ride. And that's what happened against Texas in the Elite Eight.
It's exactly what happened. Moving to that Elite Eight game, they lost 47-58 against the Texas Longhorns, shooting just 27%. They only made 12. They had 12 made shots the entire game, and they turned the ball over 16 times. From the
21
first,
times.
oh wow, okay, dang, I guess it's different on here for some reason with the box score I'm looking at, but
Well,
um,
anyway, either way, a lot of times.
it is a lot, yes, and I could kind of feel it from the opening possession. Actually, it was like a tough possession. They couldn't really get a good shot off, and then it happened again and again and again and again. And um, when I was watching Texas play Illinois in the round of 32, and then they defeated Tennessee in the Sweet 16, I was like, man, please, TCU, please. I'm praying that we don't get Texas because I was watching them, the size and the physicality that they have really good elite guard play and really good defense. It's like, man, if TCU runs into Texas, we might be in trouble, and that's exactly what happened. But hey, what can you do?
Yeah, first possession, tough shots. The press that Texas, the full court press that Texas utilized, they never figured it out. All like for 40 minutes, they never figured it out. They had 2 5-second violations and a 10-second violation as well. To not get the ball across midcourt in time. Um, it was astonishing how just kind of suffocating it was. I thought that eventually there would be an adjustment made, and they pointed this out on the broadcasts a lot. TCU would have 2 players down to receive the ball while Texas was defending with 3, and obviously that's a mismatch advantage. And usually 3 is going to beat 2. TCU never brought a third player down, or if they did, I don't remember, to come and help. And I mean, I don't know anything about basketball. I just want to let this. I don't know anything. What Mark Campbell knows is going to forget more about basketball than I'll ever know in my life. But um, it was baffling to kind of see them not be able to figure that out, and that's to Texas's credit, I think, more so than TCU's, like not. But yeah, to see them get suffocated for 40 minutes was a tough watch for sure. Even because TCU was playing pretty good defense on their end. I mean, they held Texas to 40% shooting on the night, and for a good chunk of the game, Texas couldn't make a bucket either and make that run to put TCU away until late.
Yeah, it was kind of weird to not see like a ton of adjustments, but it's I think at the end of the day, it was just like the personnel that Texas had. It was just too much for the Horned Frogs to overcome. And for Sedona Prince, it was a rough night. She had 4 points and 9 rebounds. I really hadn't seen her get blocked twice in one game. And I think Texas was ready for it. They did a really good job of uh, denying pick and roll opportunities for Van Lith and Prince, and they did a really good job of blocking off those lanes and getting Sedona in positioning. It was really difficult to get for her to get the ball, and then when she did, it just didn't really end up very well. So a lot of credit goes to Texas. They did their homework. They did I mean, as good of a job as I've seen against this high flying TCU offense. And there just wasn't a lot of sustained momentum for the Horned Frogs to make this a competitive game. Yeah, they tied it and like they brought it, close at some points, but Texas always seemed to have an answer pretty quickly.
Yeah, I never really. I mean, yes, they tied it in that third quarter, but I never really once thought, okay, TCU is in a position here to make a big run and
Yeah.
really try to pull away, because they could never get comfortable with their half court sets. Every single one was tough. Every single bucket was tough to get. I mean, only made 12 field goals the entire game. That's astronomically either bad shooting or good defense or a combination of both. So it was just yeah, it was a really impressive defensive performance. Very similar to the South Carolina game, except that South Carolina kind of put them away a lot sooner uh, in terms of that suffocating defense. Uh, this was kind of like the book, I guess, on TCU was like turn them over and make it tough to get Sedona Prince shots. But a lot of teams in women's college basketball don't have the personnel to pull it off. So it's kind of a moot point at that point. But Texas obviously does. And South Carolina did as well. So uh, that's the end of the ride. A heck of a ride for sure. Um, and I remember, at some points last night, I was frustrated. I was like, I really wanted to win, but once the realization set in, again, I just was like, kind of very grateful that this team even existed in the first place.
Yeah, it is cool. Like, you realize the ride that this team has been on and you're like, man, like this is stuff you only dream of if you're a TCU basketball fan because it's never happened before. And the fact that they were able to do it with so much success, only losing 4 games all season long, like Big 12 champs, just in all the regular season and the tournament champs, won multiple March Madness games. You don't even it's like hard to even fathom like, man, like this actually happened. Like that is such a cool thing and for this team to be in the conversations with just elite basketball programs, UConn, USC, Texas, South Carolina, like we were in that conversation with those teams. So to even be here was amazing. And yes, I was frustrated. I wanted them to win this game. I really think they could have, but looking back, even today, it just I'm good. Like I don't think this is something to hang your head about.
No, and I don't think it is either, but I do think that it is like they could have won this game. There were a lot of open looks from three that they missed that they usually make. Like whenever they did get an open look, they kind of bricked it. And so that's the only term that came to my head. They bricked it. They threw up a brick.
They did brick a lot of shots. There
They threw
was
up a
like a
brick.
lot of open threes. I think four. They only made 4 made threes, and it was like it was so difficult to get those open looks. Like yes, finally. Oh gosh, dang it! Like
Yeah.
we finally get the open look, and then they just can't. They just couldn't knock it down. But I think
Uh,
it's because they worked so hard to get those buckets that
yes.
even the open ones um, become
And so,
challenging.
yeah, psychologically, it becomes very much like a. I mean, every bucket, you want to make it, but I think even more so when you know how hard it's going to be the next time you go down the floor to get a bucket. The second you get open, you're like it becomes just a pressure cooker situation. Um, Texas does not shoot threes at all. I guess they would have like kind of an open look, and they'd be like, "Nope, I'm driving," or they'd make one dribble and shoot a mid range. Like they'll be like, "No, no threes, please." They could. Hey, that's actually where Texas cooked on offense. That was in that mid range. They got a ton of mid range buckets. Not to get back into dissecting how the game went, but uh, That was kind of where the game turned. I think they had at least 6 of them.
Madison Booker is like, she's a bucket, man. Like, she's a bucket. And she's got a bright future ahead of her. She's only a sophomore. She's 19 years old. So, yeah. Isn't that crazy? I thought she was
Yeah,
like a junior, but yeah, she's only a sophomore. So, like a true sophomore. Um, so,
back-to-back player of the year in the Big 12 and the SEC too. So, um, yeah, shout out to her. Hope they beat South Carolina. I said it. I said it. I said it. I said it. Oh, I said it. I said I hope Texas beats South Carolina. Crucify me. Goodness.
yeah. There's 4 teams left. UCLA is taking on UConn, and then Texas versus South Carolina. Me personally, I'm rooting for UConn. I'm a big,
Wow.
yeah, yep,
Can't
I
believe we're
am.
here with UConn women's basketball. They're the underdogs now.
I know it is crazy after all the years of success. What 110 wins in a row or something like that at one point. Um, but I'm a big Paige Beckers fan, so it'd be cool if she got a national championship to her name. Be pretty
Future
sweet.
Dallas Wing star.
Yeah, she's gonna be hooping in the Metroplex pretty soon, most likely.
Unfortunately, Nico Harrison will be trading that draft pick. I don't know how he will, but he will be trading it for Kevin Durant.
He'll find a way. He'll find a way. Um, but yeah, I wanted to just talk about the season as a whole. Just kind of we talked a little bit about it last week, and kind of what Mark Campbell and this team has done just for the city of Fort Worth and for the basketball community. So we won't like talk about it a ton because yeah, we like I said we talked about it last week, but it just um, one of my favorite teams that I've been able to watch as a TCU fan. This probably is my number two, maybe besides TCU football. And again, I've only been a fan since like 2021, so it's just if you're screaming other teams from the past, I was not a fan then. So yeah, this it was just such a fun journey. It put TCU women's basketball on the map. And I think Haley Van Lith is probably the best TCU basketball player in program history for a specific season.
I do not think there is. I mean, there might be some debate there with Kurt Thomas, maybe.
Yeah.
I retire her numbers going to the rafters here for sure,
Yeah.
no doubt, in my mind. Yeah, it was a ride. It was definitely a great ride. And I hope something like it happens again. But as we know, with TCU football, you always got to enjoy while it happens because you don't know how long it's going to last. And obviously, don't know what the future holds for next year. Obviously, we feel like it's trending up for this program, but right now, in this moment, just looking back on it, enjoying it, and thankful that it happened.
Yeah, because you are losing a lot of talent, right? Like you're losing Haley Van Lith, you're losing Madison Connor, Sedona Prince, Agnes Manopu, 4 of your 5 starters, and not a lot of returners. But if we know anything, it's that Mark Campbell has had a ton of success in the portal before, and there are some names. There are some good names in the portal, and I'm curious to see what he can do there. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
Olivia Miles.
Hey, you said it, not me.
Yeah, you heard it here first. Olivia Miles, future TC Horn Frog. It's happening, y'all.
It's
I
happening
have the
according to
script.
yes. I got the script. He's pulling it out right now. There he goes.
Yep, I got it.
Got the script. I got it in the mail yesterday. It says Olivia Miles. What did I text you yesterday? Paige Becker's New York Liberty. He'll figure out a way. He's gonna the entire New York Liberty roster. Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers. They're gonna be a TC Horn Frogs because Mark Campbell just is a magician. And he'll figure out a way.
Yeah.
Little facetious there, but obviously, would not doubt his abilities to go out there and lure some top end talent to Fort Worth for next season.
Yeah, he did it with less talent or less of a resume and less resources before. Now you have an Elite Eight appearance to your name in your second season, and the the world the public eye got to see the relationship that Mark Campbell had with Haley Van Lith. I don't see how a player sees that and is like, I don't want to play there. Like, it's this run did a lot of good things for this program moving forward, and we may not be able to replicate Elite Eight appearances year after year after year, but the groundwork is being laid for consistency, and that's really what I think fans want.
Yes. Uh, I think the one area where this program could improve is in the high school recruiting aspects of it. And I think that if you can start getting high end high school recruits to come to Fort Worth, as well as those high end transfers, you got yourself an elite program, like bona fide
Yeah,
elite program that's
yeah,
consistently being successful year over year. Uh,
yeah,
right now, with a transfer portal like solution or a transfer portal roster building uh, format that he's got going on right now, it becomes a little more volatile, obviously. Um, right now, I'm not going to doubt him, but that would be the one area where I'd say if we could start, getting those players in here, that'd be huge.
yeah. Because it's not like super sustainable to constantly build your program through the transfer. You got to have like a foundation at some point. But doubting Mark Campbell is going to be the last thing that I do. So I
Yes.
trust I trust the process. I trust the process. Um, as the transfer portal news kind of hits a little bit more, um, we'll be discussing like updates and what's going on with the women's transfer portal as well as men's. There are some news coming out of men's basketball over the last few days about what's going on there. But we'll provide updates as that comes along because Mark Campbell's gonna cook. We just know this by now.
Yeah. If you
Um,
had told me that,
yeah,
I don't even know who's in the cards, because if you had told me at this time last year that Haley Van Lith is going to transfer to TCU, I would have told you that you're crazy. So
yeah. There's a lot of good names. Hopefully, I mean, for next season or this season, I doubt anyone's gonna transfer. Maybe someone that's like, well, because most of our players are seniors anyways, so even the players that didn't get a lot of playing time, so there's not really. But you've got Donovan Hunter, who should stay. Maddie Sure will come back after she missed the entire season. Um, who else did I text you? I think there's a couple other names. I think Aaliyah Roberson is a junior. Yes. Taylor
Taylor
Bigby
Bigby, yeah.
is a redshirt junior, so she should come back hopefully. Um, so you at least have some players, but yeah, um, you gotta assemble a lot, a new squad essentially. We're gonna be
It,
looking at a much different team next year.
a daunting task for sure, but one that he's done before. The roster was in much worse shape when he got here 2 years ago, so I would say that he could do a lot with this roster that he currently has right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we are at almost the 25-minute mark. Um, what do you think? Should we move on to baseball, or do you want to table that for next week?
Well, let's talk a little frog ball.
Let's do it. All right. We'll talk a little bit of baseball. They picked up a 2 out of 3 series win against Houston. The bats really came alive the last 2 days. 12-0 on Saturday, and then 16-5 on Sunday. Um, Bats are hot, baby. Bats are hot.
Bats are hot. Bats are hot. TCU 4 in 1 week. Be 2 wins against UTRGV as well in the
Yeah.
midweek. So hey, playing a really good ball. Going back to last week, after you remember dire straits, we come on here. We're like, how are we giving up 400 runs to Arizona State? We can't be doing this. This team's in the gutter. They go out. They beat DBU. They win 2 out of 3 against Tech. Then they beat UTRGV twice, and they win 2 out of 3 against Houston. They're on a roll. They're 21-8, 5-4 in the conference. Hey, playing good ball right now. Bats are hot, as you said. Sawyer Strasnyder is the best player in the Big 12. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that right now.
Best player ever
Best player.
at this point.
Sawyer Bonds is his name.
Yes, that is his name. Yeah, oh my gosh. I can't even like, I mean, every AB is just like, I'm like, dang, I feel confident that he's going to get a hit every time he steps into the plate at this point. He went 4 for 5 on Saturday. What did he do on Sunday? Oh, well, he didn't play. He did not play, but that's okay. He didn't need to because he just was because the offense still scored 16 runs, but
and that came after Houston spotted him 4 in the first, and they said that's good. Thank you for giving us a little handicap. We gave Houston a handicap, and then we moved on.
Yes,
and scored 16 runs.
We wanted to make it a little more challenging for our team, and then decided we're gonna come back and outscore them 16-1. The reason and guys, I did not watch Sunday's game, so that is why I just looked like a complete casual there and didn't know that Sawyer Strasnyder did not play on Sunday. Did not watch Sunday's game, guys. Okay, bear with me. But regardless, Sawyer Strasnyder's a beast. He can hit to all fields. Hit an Oppo Taco on Saturday. He's hitting like 379. But in all seriousness, Kirk Saarloos and his ability to get quality play out of his freshmen, especially like hitting and the position players, it's impressive. Over the last few years, we've seen Anthony Silva, and Carson Bowen, and then last year Chase Brunson and Sam Myers, and this year it's Sawyer Strasnyder. So like, Kirk is getting a lot out of his freshmen, and it's exciting for sure.
Yeah. Noah Franco, kind of having an up and down year pitching right now, but real big props to him because on Sunday he gives up 4 runs, only goes a third of an inning, and doesn't get down to the dumps and hits a 3-run bomb the next half inning.
Yeah.
So
that's what he did last week too against Tech.
I know.
Like Noah, you can pitch well and not, and still help yourself out. Yeah. Like you don't need to help yourself out by, first giving up 5 runs and then making up the difference with a 3-run homer.
It is just a little bit funny. Offense, let's team offense check in. 857 OPS as a team now. That'll play. That'll play. It was struggling a bit. Now there are some players again that are struggling that I would like to see doing a bit better. Carson Bowen, 246 batting average, but a 799 OPS I think is totally fine. He's getting on base, so that's great. Isaac Cadena hitting 212, but again 724 OPS, still getting on base, therefore still in the lineup. So hey, this team bops a little bit of power lately we've been seeing, and Billy Beane would love them. They get on base, 398 on base percentage.
Oh yeah, Billy Beane would just love this TCU team. Might make a movie out of it at this point. Moneyball 2 with
Moneyball
TCU baseball.
college version.
Yeah. we let's get it going. I think we got to start this now.
Now, Zion, is there anything about this baseball roster that you feel regrets about, though? Do you feel any regrets about this baseball roster? Could it just be even a little bit better? Just a little bit better. Maybe if there was someone else here.
A Ben A belt would be pretty sweet.
That would help.
Um,
That'd help.
that would help. But you know what was good though was the return of Cademan Parker. Really glad
Yes,
that he's back. He looked really good. 5 innings pitched of scoreless baseball. So I don't have any regrets about having Cademan Parker back. That's pretty sweet.
I do not. I also thought it was cool that Jack Strager got to pitch to Nolan Traeger.
That was cool. Yeah,
We're just going through moments right now. It's going
yeah.
through a little.
We're going through. What were you gonna say though? Do you have regrets
I
with
do.
this?
I think that if we had a corner outfield of Logan Maxwell and Sawyer Strasnyder, we might be in Omaha
Oh,
right now.
that's where you're going with that. Yeah, yeah.
We were looking at
I
his numbers
do.
before we started the show, and our jaws dropped collectively when we saw that he has hit more homers this year than he did the previous 3 seasons combined. And he's played 23 games.
And some wonder. The torpedo bats may only affect wood bats in the MLB, but could they be working in college too? And maybe Logan Maxwell has like um, an early version of it, and that's why he's hitting 8 home runs.
I,
This is a joke, of course.
this is a joke, not an accusation, but the entirety of the Arkansas roster is playing with those big plastic bats that you give a toddler.
Yeah, that's crazy though. Good for Logan Maxwell. I wish you were a Horned Frog. I'm sad that you are not. I was really sad when you left, but you know, Sawyer Stroh and Logan Maxwell would have
Fed
been
families.
yes, it would have been a lethal duo. But
I still,
you can never
where do you
predict.
think, we get BYU, UTSA today, we're recording this on Tuesday morning, and then BYU this weekend. Um, I still feel pretty good right now where we're at. You go out there, you win 3 out of 4 this week. Feeling good still. Um, definitely think a tournament appearance is on the table.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a much better start to Big 12 play than last year, that's for sure. And all three Big 12 series that they've played, they've gone into it 1-1, and it's been decided on Sunday. Most of the time, you will take that. Obviously, you'd love a sweep one of these weekends, but if you can go into Sunday with a chance to win the series, that's good. And if you're able to do it, that's even better. So I think they're in a really good spot right now. Obviously, I think trying to find that consistent third starter will be the thing that they'll have to look for throughout this season. But if the bats continue to hit the way they are, I mean, it's not going to matter too much.
No, it won't. But yeah, BYU and then Kansas, who apparently is the best team in the country. That's also a
That they
lie.
do. Yes, yes, they do. That is not a lie. The Jayhawks are all vibes, and they are the best team in the country.
I will say the schedule is sneaky tough. Like if you had given me the schedule from now till the end of the season, I would have told you shut up. That's not that hard. Baylor's playing some pretty good ball right now. Arizona's nothing to be trifled with, and they have never played Cincinnati well anytime I see them play Cincinnati. So
Mm, yeah. Well, I mean, it is tough for sure. We've got two Big 12 teams in the top 25 now, so we're making progress here.
slow claps for
Hopefully,
that. Yeah, for sure.
hopefully TCU can be the third.
I definitely think I definitely think that would be the case of all of the Big 12 teams. I don't know who else you would put there.
Yeah,
I guess Kansas. Actually, never mind. Kansas.
Kansas is balling, man. They're getting some attention for sure.
Oklahoma
They're
State
playing good.
stinks. They're
They
12 and
suck.
13. Yeah, 12 and 13.
Yikes.
Tech is not good. We know this though.
Yeah, they're not very good. Um, One thing also I wanted to mention though too, we're right now this baseball talk is just truly all over the place, but the bullpen is kind of hilarious because it's so like um, one weekend we get something like truly incredible, and then the next weekend it's like, wait, what just happened? When Noah Franco he pitched a third of an inning, I mean they got one run baseball the rest of the game. Luis Rodriguez went three and two thirds with five strikeouts. Mason Brassfield was really good. He walked a few hitters, but that's fine. And then Cole Klecker pitched the final three innings and got three strikeouts. So I'd like to think that the bullpen is more good than bad, and hopefully Kirk Saarloos is trying to find that role for each of these guys that they can get adjusted to.
Yeah, it is a kind of an up and down situation though at the moment, but um, where it seems like one day they all are collectively doing amazing, and the next day it's like, oh, we none of these guys can throw strikes.
Yeah. Um, they it is kind of a thing though with baseball is that a bullpen is like a collective group, and so they kind of feed off of each other, and they want to hand the ball, they want to do their job and then hand the ball to the next guy. And if everyone's doing their job, it gives you confidence and it makes you as a bullpen guy like, I want to be good for the next guy, I want to do my job. But if it starts to fall apart and you don't really have like your routine, and you kind of know you don't really know when you're going in, that's kind of where it can blow up on you. So sometimes bullpens you can have just a couple good arms and that's all you need. But I think with this team, there isn't like, Braden Sloan is the best pitcher on this staff and he's coming out of the bullpen. But you kind of need everybody to be clicking in order for this bullpen to thrive. And we saw that this weekend, and I hope we can see that moving forward.
Absolutely, I totally agree. Let's go beat the Cougars, beat the Roadrunners, have ourselves a good baseball weekend, because that's all that there is to talk about. That's all that there's left. They're it. They're
I
the
know.
lone survivors of the sports schedule now. Of at least on the collegiate scene, it's just Frogball rest of the way here for a little while.
Yep. We're going to be doing a lot of baseball talk over the next couple months. And then hopefully, a deep run in the tournament is on the horizon. But again, we will also be providing uh, women's and men's basketball portal updates, because it's definitely hectic. There's already a lot going on, um, and we'll receive news about that. But um, baseball will mainly be the thing we'll be talking about. But that'll wrap things up here for episode 37. A fun one for sure. It's we talked about women's basketball, and it was a tough way to go out, but a tremendous season, and we're excited for that future, and we're excited to see what baseball can bring. You can follow us on Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube page, listen to us wherever you get your podcasts, all at Believe in TCU. Again, thank you for tuning in. For Seth Dowdle, I'm Zion Trammell. We'll see you guys next time, and as always, go Frogs.